Manayeva manusyanam karanam bandhamokshayoh. The mind alone is the cause of both bondage and liberation for humans. Welcome to the new episode of Observation Lab. Towards the end of the last episode, I brought up a question. Is there something beyond thought? Something more intelligent? I will continue this discussion from there. Historical figures such as Nagarjuna and Buddha and many others are thought to have accessed a deeper level of awareness. This is an alternative to conventional thinking. However, thinking that thought is bad and trying to think less is still a form of thought. It's an ironic cycle where the attempt to reduce thinking only leads to more thoughts about thinking less. After all, as the quote I mentioned at the beginning, taken from the Amrit Bindu Upanishad, suggests, the mind can be the cause of both bondage and liberation. Well, going back to awareness, I think it's important to realize that thought and awareness are not opposites. They coexist. Awareness acts like a canvas where all thoughts are painted. Some people believe that by simply thinking through problems, they are being mindful. But true awareness is more profound than that. It transcends mere thought. This concept is not new. It has been discussed for centuries, but merely talking about it does not capture its full significance. Learning about theories and philosophies has its own significance, but genuine awareness and the practice of meditation delve much deeper. When people discuss philosophy or theory, they often treat awareness similarly to other intellectual pursuits. But true awareness is different. It's about experiencing and living beyond the confines of theoretical understanding. Having said that, sometimes I hear people claiming that meditation can solve every problem. They argue that it's a one-size-fits-all solution to every problem. Some other people talk about meditation in a way that suggests they have unlocked secrets about the universe or the origins of consciousness. While I wouldn't say it's impossible to understand these profound topics, one should carefully approach them through scientific methods. Practices like breathing exercises and yoga are well documented for their health benefits, which research consistently supports. However, believing that meditation can universally solve all problems is a misconception. As I said, it should be seen more as a canvas, where awareness of one's actions and thoughts is painted. Unfortunately, some may misunderstand this and think they are fully aware when, in reality, they might be caught in an illusion. I've spoken with many long-time practitioners of meditation who believe they understand their mental state very well, perhaps because the practice gives them some level of comfort. However, this comfort can sometimes be just another layer of illusion, making them think they are achieving more than they actually are. In fact, meditation is not just about belief. It's a process of becoming aware and understanding oneself. It's also about aligning more with scientific methods, which is why it has gained attention within the scientific community. Many aspects of meditation can indeed be analyzed and measured using scientific tools and research. However, there are elements that science has yet to measure, and this leads some to turn to ancient texts for explanations. These texts contain valuable insights and are revered in their religious contexts, but we should approach them with a critical eye, especially when comparing them to scientific understanding. For instance, principles that apply in classical physics may not hold in quantum physics, where the behaviors and characteristics of particles require a completely different theoretical approach. This analogy shows that while ancient wisdom can be profound, science is always evolving and our understanding must evolve too. Also, the goal should not be to muddy the waters with pseudoscientific beliefs or superstitions, but to seek clarity and understanding. This is why we should focus not on blind belief but self-understanding. Observing our thoughts and being aware of our mental processes can provide significant insights. Therefore, we must approach meditation and self-awareness with the understanding that they offer many benefits, but they are not cure-alls. We should recognize the limits of our perceptions and the potential for self-deception. Understanding these nuances is important to grasp the full scope of meditation. Without this understanding, it's easy to misinterpret the process, potentially simplifying or complicating it unnecessarily. Well, meditation technique can be as simple as focusing on one's breath. However, maintaining this focus is challenging. Let me illustrate with a quick exercise. Consider focusing solely on your breathing, inhaling and exhaling for just 1 minute. You could pause this video and try it right now. Inhaling and exhaling. Well, if you have just tried this, many of you have perhaps found that your mind wandering off, getting caught up in various thoughts within seconds, even if your intention was just to focus on your breath. This difficulty is natural, even for those who can only manage 30 seconds at first. If you extend this practice to say 15 minutes, especially when you are just starting, you'll begin to notice how challenging it is to maintain that focus. This is not a flaw. It's a part of the process that has been recognized for a long time. It requires some kind of practice and patience. The journey into meditation can sometimes feel quite unstable, especially when we start to notice just how many thoughts clutter our mind. Imagine sitting down not to focus on breathing exercises or any specific technique, but simply to observe our thoughts. We might think about why we are angry with someone and suddenly realize, oh my God, my mind is overflowing with thoughts about past events. This reminds me of a classic Zen story on mental attachment to past thoughts. Two monks were traveling together, one older and the other younger. They saw a woman struggling to cross a river. The older monk quickly carried her across and set her down, although it was against monastic rules to touch a woman. As they walked on, the younger monk felt really troubled, and later asked the older monk about his actions. The older monk responded, "I left the woman back at the river. Are you still carrying her?" This story shows how holding onto past actions can sometimes trap us, and releasing them can free us. Let's circle back to the breathing exercises. Similar to Vipassana, which Buddha himself went through, this practice, along with many others, like listening to certain sounds or music, serves as one approach to meditation. But the ultimate goal is not just about using these techniques. It's more about observing our thoughts. People often get sidetracked. They might think meditation is about listening to a specific sound, focusing on a light, or solely on their breath. However, the real essence of meditation goes beyond any specific technique. It's about gaining a deeper understanding of our own mind. Some practitioners even advocate for meditation without any formal techniques, focusing instead on pure awareness, which is fascinating but could be a bit challenging, particularly for beginners who might find their minds filled with non-stop thoughts. Now consider a typical meditation session where you aim for 15 minutes of focusing on your breathing. As you sit there, your mind wanders. You kind of swing between thoughts, perhaps getting caught up in a wave of reflections you didn't intend to think about. Minutes pass and suddenly remember, wait, I'm supposed to be concentrating on my breathing. This realization might escape you again as you delve into more thoughts, only to come back to the fact that you are here to focus on inhaling and exhaling. Ironically, you might start meditation with the intention to lessen the frequency and intensity of your thoughts, only to find that you seem to be thinking more than ever. However, this is an interesting observation. You are not necessarily thinking more, but rather you are becoming more aware of your thoughts. These are thoughts that have always been there, operating in the background, but now you are paying attention to them for perhaps the first time. This awareness is what meditation helps cultivate. It's not always about reducing thoughts per se, but about becoming aware of them, understanding their nature, and observing how they influence our consciousness. I recommend starting with just 5 to 15 minutes of focused breathing exercises. It's also beneficial to engage in some yogic exercises beforehand. As you practice, you will gradually uncover the intricacies of the experience and begin to notice something profound about yourself. It might seem as though it's not really you who is thinking sometimes. It feels like your thoughts are running wild, almost on their own. This realization can be quite amusing, but also revealing. Okay, we will continue exploring this topic in the next episode. Thank you for being here. I hope to see you next time. Take care.